What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Doing another upload today, giving you a double dose of mocha. If y'all did not catch my first upload, I did an upload, I'll say maybe a couple of hours ago, about the disadvantages of older men dating younger women. I broke down all of the elements for those of you who did not check it out. It is still upload it for those who didn't get a chance to view it. I thought it was a very imperative topic to talk about for older men to see that there's more to dating younger women than just having somebody that looks good on their arms, just good arm candy. But there's a lot of things that men need to take into consideration when they are seriously thinking about dating or pursuing their future or having a future by pursuing a younger woman. So for those of you who may be interested in that content, I think it would be very insightful for those of you who may have some interest in it. But moving right along, I wanted to do this particular content. It's not going to be as long as most of my videos that I do. I just so happen was browsing on YouTube. I haven't been on YouTube in a while, and I've been hearing there's been a lot of channels that's been shut down. A lot of popular content creators and most of the content creators that have gotten shut down are individuals who do a lot of strong content against Black women and vice versa. So, I found it a little disturbing, and I must admit, being a Black woman, a lot of the content that I do hear that many of these men discuss or do content about, at many times, a lot of the content could be very offensive. It can be very degrading and very painful and very hurtful. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of it rings a lot of truth. But I can honestly say it also rings truth when um, women do content on Black men as well. And a lot of things they say ring a lot of truth as well. So, in my opinion, in actuality, Black men and Black women, as much as there's so much division amongst each other and one another, the ironic and the most you know the most I don't know what I'm trying to get out, but the most strange part about it is that both of us have a lot of knowledge when it comes to one another. Black men know a lot of us as Black women, they know us very well because they deal with us from the husband perspective, from the dating perspective. Black women, we don't date each other unless you are in that lifestyle, but that's a whole nother topic. But we really don't know ourselves unless we are dating ourselves, unless we are having children from ourselves, unless we are in relationships with ourselves. And even then, you still will never really know how you are. Nobody knows how it is dealing with with their own selves, because they're not dealing with themselves from an opposite end. So it's easy for us as Black women to feel like a lot of the things the Black men are saying are not true. It makes no sense. It seems like, it's so much negativity, and it seems very harsh. But the truth is, there's a lot of honesty, even in their harsh way of saying it, even in their degrading way of saying it. Their style of expressing how difficult it is to deal with us as Black women, it's pretty harsh, but it does ring a lot of truth. The only way you will really understand how to deal with a Black woman is not because you're a Black woman. It would take you having a child from a Black woman, having dated a Black woman, having married a Black woman, having been intimate with a Black woman. So as a Black woman, we cannot say men don't know what they're talking about when it comes to dealing with us, because they are dealing with us from the perspective coming from a man. So being a Black woman, of course, we're not going to be able to relate on their opinions, on their viewpoints of how they perceive us, because as I stated before, You not dealing with you. You ain't had a child from you. You ain't had a relationship with you. You ain't got to deal with your attitude like other people on the opposite end is receiving it has to. So a lot of these men, they do bring up some very significant points as far as to our attitudes and as far as how we cannot deal with constructive criticism. I mean, me being a black woman, I have had to deal with other black women being my friends, women who I've known in my family, not being able to be honest with them as much as we want to keep it real with each other. Or they say if you a real friend, you a real chick, you a real that, you'll keep it real. A lot of females, you cannot keep it real with them. They get offended by the truth, and you can be telling them certain things out of love and out of compassion, but because you're not saying it the way they want you to say it, you're not saying it in a loving way. Comes to black women to discuss black men, there's also a lot of truth in that as well. Now, I've been hearing content from men speaking about how black women don't know black men. Um, we lack knowledge and being able to give any advice, or we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the education, we don't have the experience, whatever it is they feel we don't have, where we do not need to really be speaking on black men. We really don't have the legit credibility to have an opinion or to give advice about black men. I hear black men do this as well. They don't think that any black woman, regardless of how intelligent she is, how successful she is, how knowledgeable she is, just the fact alone that she's a black woman, her credibility is already a strike is already against her as far as her having any credibility, because some of these guys have a stereotypical attitude like some of these black women, that some black men feel like all black women are the same, like some black women feel like all black men are the same. So a lot of them, even when you're sharing your knowledge, you could have 8, 9 degrees, you could study black behavior within the black community, you could take psychology courses and all of that, and a lot of these brothers will still feel like you as a black woman, you don't have the expertise or the knowledge in sharing or giving any advice about how a black man conducts himself or how we perceive black men. We're automatically written off the book, off the map. So I say all that to say this is that as black men and black women, we both both of us have a lot of knowledge when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex. And like I stated earlier, a black woman ain't got to deal with herself. She not having kids from herself. She not marrying herself. She don't know what a man has to go through mentally, emotionally, or physically as far as being her companion, her baby daddy, or whatever position he has in her life. And that's the same thing with black men. A lot of black men, they don't know what it's like dealing with them. They don't have a clue. Because they're not a woman. They're not built like us emotionally. They're not built like us mentally. So for them to say we don't know what we're talking about when it comes to dealing with them, I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair for anybody, a black man or a black woman, to say that another black man or another black woman don't know what they're talking about. They don't have no knowledge and how black men think and how we operate things. But that may be true, but at the end of the day, you don't have to deal with you. As a black man, you ain't had a child from yourself. You ain't been married to yourself, so you can't really say how a woman should or shouldn't feel, because you're not on the receiving end. You're not her. So you cannot navigate her feelings and say, well, black women don't need to feel this way and black women shouldn't feel this way. You don't have to deal with you. That's like you taking your fist or punching somebody in the eye and saying, you don't need to be crying about how bad it hurt. My thing is, you didn't receive the punch. I got impacted by your punch. You was the one throwing the punch. So who are you to say, how how painful it is or not. And I'm really, this is the part that really has me disturbed about the black community as a whole. Both black men and black women, we don't give each other enough credit for our knowledge or our wisdom, because in actuality, all I think both sides are right to a lot of degree. I listen to a lot of male content creators on YouTube, and a lot of the black women, don't aren't too fond of these black men, because a lot of their content, like I said, is very harsh. It can be degrading, but at the same time, these men, they deal with black women all of the time. Black men deal with black women in ways where black women don't deal with black women. Okay, so with that being said, as a black woman, it's very easy for us to get offended or to feel some type of way whenever a brother wants to give content talking about females, black women don't have no respect for themselves, don't know how to conduct a conversation with a black man without getting out of pocket and things of this and that nature. And the truth is, if the majority of the encounters he has had with black women has been negative, of course his perception of black women is going to be ingrained to that. If the majority of the women he has talked to or brought on his shows, brought in his chat room or did panels with, it's always been sisters that get reckless and get out of pocket, and he sees it over and over and over all of the time. And the negative um sisters are getting more exposure compared to the black women that are trying to be fair and reasonable and are willing to listen and learn from a black man. Black men usually don't gravitate towards the black women who really want to learn, who really come to their channels to support and try to learn and gain some knowledge. I've seen women who have tried to do this, and these men would take it out because they've had a couple of negative encounters with some of the other sisters. As soon as a decent sister has a difference in opinion, or if she disagrees, he will automatically ridicule her in his chat room, ridicule her on his panel, uh, because it's that defense mechanism of always having to deal with a black woman's attitude. The moment a black woman disagrees, here comes the attitude. Here she comes getting loud. Here she comes trying to take over the panel, trying to take over the channel. So it's that defense mechanism. The moment a black woman, even if she's a respectable black woman, she shows any difference in opinion, he's going to automatically assume that she's being combative, that she's intentionally going against the grain because she wants to prove a point. So it's decent black women who do go to these type of contents and want to learn from the brothers. They are basically being turned away. Some of these guys, I go to their content, and it's times I'll be wanting to ask them questions. I'll be wanting to learn more about some of the topics and get a better insight on the topics and the things that they discuss pertaining to black women. But being that I've seen how they have treated other black women who have asked them questions that they felt in their mind was silly or stupid, they have shunned these women, they have embarrassed these women, they have looked down upon these women, they have you know basically scalded females for asking a question that they felt was silly or stupid, or or they may feel like she's trying too hard to win him over. So even if a sister's coming to some of these guys who got channels and saying, hey, what's your opinion on this, opinion on that, he may feel like she's an undercover shock thought, that she's only over here trying to get in good with me so she can earn a ranch or whatever the case is. So it's that problem where a lot of us as black women and black men, we lack discernment. We lack who to give a chance to, who to give an opportunity to, and who to not give an opportunity to. We are very, very terrible at doing this. I've seen so many men give the wrong women on their channels a platform, or wrench women that were a recipe for disaster, and women that genuinely have their best interests, that genuinely want to rock for them and ride for them. These are the women that they turn away, or these are the women. The moment a woman has a difference in opinion, they shun her for it. Had a quick call. Apologize about that. Um, it's gotten to the point now, like I said, to where we can't even have a difference in opinion on these platforms without people getting out of pocket, without people taking things personal, causing people's channels to get flagged, people coming together, having flag parties, because one person fell out with somebody on a panel. Now they recruiting all of their fans and subscribers to go after a certain individual and make their channels become demonetized. It has just gotten so far and out of hand, to the point now to where YouTube is not even a fun place to be anymore. You can't come on here and share a difference in opinion without somebody taking something personal. People don't know how to have beefs and separate it. If you don't get along, y'all don't like each other, you had a falling out over a difference in opinion over a topic, then be man enough or woman enough to go your separate way gracefully without having to target and attack each other's platforms. Because all of us know, being a content creator, it takes years sometimes to build up your subscribers base, and it takes years to increase your views. This is not something easy to do. So because you have an opinion, and a lot of people cannot respect your opinion, or they cannot accept your opinion, and especially if you do something personal towards them, now people are taking it to another level. They want to demonetize and flag people's channels and stuff. And I've just come to the point to where I realize a lot of this comes from the fact that Black men and Black women, a lot of us are in a lot of pain. That's all it boils down to. That is the reason why the moment a Black woman gets out of pocket, a brother is quick to jump her bones, and cuss her and go off on her, and call her every name but the child of God, because he's already angry with Black women based on what he's gone through in the past, based on Black women not making him feel like he's superior. They're not giving him enough of validation. All of these things are part of the reason the moment a Black woman gets out of pocket, he feels the need to lash out and go off on her, ridicule her, embarrass her, humiliate her on his live streams, or humiliate her on the panels, because again, a lot of this is already built up anger and animosity from things he has already experienced in the past with Black women, and it could be things he's already experienced currently with Black women not really giving him the validation he wants, not really checking for him like that. The men can be petty too. We want to act like petty is just a problem not only women have, but the truth of the matter is you have some grown men out here that are allowing their masculinity to be overruled by their by their emotions. You have some guys, they can't take a lick and they keep on ticking. A woman says one thing, he can't let it go. He got to take it to another level and call all kind of names, call her hoes, talk about her children, talk about her husband, talk about things that's personal and dear that shouldn't even be brought up in the conversation. He wants to attack her because again, he still feels attacked from what other black women have done to him in the past. So he's like a guard dog. He's waiting for the given moment for a black woman to get out of pocket. The moment she does, he's going to let her have it. Same thing with black women. And black women, we are the number one candidates when it comes to holding on to grudges. One thing about a woman, when we get angry, no matter how successful we may become, no matter how much we get our ish together, no matter how much money we make, things could be going better for us, things could be moving up for us, and yet we will still hold on to that anger and that animosity. And a lot of us as black women, we are still angry from poor decisions that we made in the past based on the type of men we have chosen in our lives, the type of men who we decide to have our children from. It's a lot of things that we have gone through personally that has shaped our whole outlook on black men and how we perceive black men. So the moment a black man says something about black women, and it hits close to home, if he gives a topic about single mothers, we quick to get angry. We want to thumb his video down, because if you're a single mother and you're already struggling paying bills, and you already got your baby daddy's not giving you child support, you automatically gonna take offense, because as a black woman, you're gonna feel like, who is he to be downgrading me as a single mother? I take care of my kids. I was a good mom. I gave the fathers of my children an opportunity to step up. I wasn't always beastie until, I wasn't getting the help or the support I needed. So black women, we're constantly used to being judged all the time. So it's always this offense filter when it comes to us. The moment a brother speaks on anything pertaining to our situation, we automatically get our panties in a bunch. We don't want black men speaking on topics that hit close to home. We don't want them talking about single mothers. We don't want them talking about having multiple baby daddies. We don't want them talking about anything that hits close to home, because the truth of the matter is, it's painful. It's kind of like, um being in a situation where, God forbid, and it's just an analogy, you catch the STD, you catch HIV from unprotected sex. So the moment somebody discusses people who have carelessly not protected themselves and not using protection and not being educated in that area, it's going to kind of hurt. It's going to hurt your feelings, because you're going to be able to relate due to the fact that you were that person. You did not use protection. You did not cover yourself. So you're going to automatically get offended. And that's the problem with a lot of us as black men and black women. The truth is, all of us have just gone through so much, trying to climb the ladder in society. All of us have had struggles personally, professionally, trying to get to where we are. We all have personal battles. It's a lot of things that black men are dealing with out here that a lot of us as black women just cannot relate to. And it is very disgraceful to these black men, for black women to be going in on them and talking so harshly about them, when in actuality, the truth of the matter is, as a black woman, we cannot relate to the pains and the struggles of a black man. It don't matter if they have big arms, big biceps, triceps. At the end of the day, black men, they have personal struggles. They go through SHIT too. They go through people trying to pull a rug from up under the foot on the job. They go through getting passed up, been on the job for 30, 40 years, and people of other colors are being promoted and given opportunities. And even though he's been dedicated on his job, coming in, rain or shine, never calling in, they keep passing them up and giving a position to someone else. Same thing as black men. The reason why a lot of us as black women, we take it personal when black men go in us on us so strongly, because a lot of us, we are trying to find our space in life as well. We go through it on the job. We go through constantly being overlooked, not being unappreciated, not being valued, just like these black men go through. And the truth of the matter is, being a black man and a black woman, a lot of us are facing the same problems. We're just facing it from a different angle. Black women are dealing with their problems from an emotional standpoint. Black men are dealing with their issues from a logical standpoint. But the truth of the matter is, all of us are in a lot of pain. And the moment any of us comes at each other, we're going to automatically go full force and try to ruin each other. Because the truth is, all of us are feeling undefeated. Every last one of us. I don't care how many black men come on these contents and bragging and acting like they got it together. I got money, I got this, I got that. Somewhere in his life, he is feeling undefeated. I don't care if a black woman comes on here bragging about the success she has, how many books she done sold, how much super chat she's getting. Underneath all of that, she's still feeling undefeated somewhere in her life, because the truth of the matter is, all of us are feeling undefeated somewhere. And for those who are saying they don't feel undefeated somewhere, you are hypothetical. You are definitely a habitual. You're a liar. You're a liar, because we all are feeling undefeated. Even with my content and stuff that I do, is areas of my life when I still feel like I'm not progressing like I want to, and because of that, sometimes emotionally, it does get the best of me. It does weigh in on me. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us as black men and black women. That's why it's so much gender wars in these YouTube streets, because really all of us are constantly feeling undefeated. And some of it is our fault, but at the same time, some of it is not our fault, because society is designed, society is programmed to limit us from not being able to reach a certain level. No matter how much you climb the ladder, it's going to always be that one level where that certain level where we're going to get held back. And a lot of it has everything to do with the history, the way we were brought into this country, the things that our ancestors have gone through. So it was, we were defeated from the beginning of time, long before we were even thought of, long before we were even conceived or brought into this world. So the truth is, even with all of what we have accomplished, and even though we have came far, we don't have to deal with the same type of levels of racism and segregation that our ancestors had to deal with. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of black men and black women are in a lot of pain. We all have experienced some type of pain, whether it was from your childhood, whether if it happened in your manhood or your womanhood. Maybe you was a young black man who was always looked down upon by pretty black little girls in school that you had a crush on, and they always made fun of you, they always teased you, they always looked down on you. And now you are an older, successful man, you're doing well for yourself, and now black women are approaching you, I have interest in you, you want to shun them away because you still have that stigma of when you was a little boy and how they used to look down on you because you used to wear the dirty jeans to school with holes in them, because you grew up in poverty, and young black women made you feel bad because of that. And that stigma is still in your mind. So even though these grown ass women wasn't with you in high school and middle school, when you was getting elementary, when you was getting picked on by these other little young black girls, you're holding it against her, based on she symbolizes the same type of women who have put you down and embarrassed you. And the same thing with black women. Black women, we are experts at displaced anger. The moment any black man in our life has done anything wrong to us, if he's a deadbeat ass dad, or or the men we wanted chose somebody over us, who we felt we looked better than, who we felt had more. All of these things program the psyche of us as a black woman, and it makes us angry, it makes us bitter, it makes us hold grudges. So I really believe that is the reason why there is so much gender war going on in these YouTube streets. I don't think it's ever going to end, because the problem is, a lot of us are not healing. We have not healed. We're not trying to heal. Instead of healing, what we're doing is we're spitting out that poisonous venom to others. And it's kind of like this: if I lay down on the ground and a black man decides to step on top of me, just picture me laying on the ground and he's standing on top of my back. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to be able to move, because what, I'm like 5 foot even, and I'm what, like 120, 125, something like that. And there's a grown ass man standing on top of me. I can't move. However, at the same time, as long as he's standing on top of me, guess what? He can't move either. He can't move either because he's too busy standing on top of me. If I can't move, he can't move. The only way he's going to be able to move, he's going to have to get off of me so I can move. And that is the problem with black men and black women. This is the reason why this gender war has gotten out of hand. What's going to happen is we all are just going to keep losing. We're all exterminating each other one by one. We all are going to lose. Everything we've built. We all are going to be each other's downfall. Okay, while all these other channels and all these other races are progressing and doing well, and they're profiting off of their channels has opened more doors for them. That's not going to happen with black YouTube content creators. Because we're too busy trying to ruin each other, we're too busy trying to attack each other, we're trying to sabotage each other's channels and dismantle all of what we have built. What's going to happen is none of us are going to grow. Nobody's not going to go anywhere. And in a few minutes, most of these channels are going to be completely wiped off because it's going to come a point when YouTube is going to get tired of all of these black women that are coming after black men in their channels and whatever the case is. What's going to happen is we're going to wipe each other out because it's never going to stop. People are going to keep retaliating to try to prove a point. Oh, you got rid of my channel, I'm gonna send my people to get rid of yours. We're just going to keep losing. We all are going to be on the losing end. But at the same time, keep in mind that sometimes you make yourself a target because you have to realize you have to be careful how you go in on people, even when you are a strongly opinionated person. It come a point to where it's so many. What some black men content creators not understanding is a lot of black women out here have been verbally and physically abused by other black men. Now, I'm not saying this to make black men feel sorry for black women. I'm not saying this for black men to sympathize and take it easy on black women. I'm just giving y'all another way of looking at it. So the moment you guys do content calling women out their name and saying all type of degrading stuff, you put women in a position to where they want to target you because you have to realize a lot of these females did not have a voice when they was getting abused by their abuser, or rather if they was getting child molested, whatever the case is. A lot of these women ain't had a voice. They had to stand there and take it, or whatever the case was, or maybe they didn't have the strength to stand up for themselves. But now social media are giving women who's probably had abusive, who has been issues in the past being abused, is giving them a voice. So the moment you come at these females, even though you're doing it to share your knowledge, you're spilling your wisdom and you're trying to help other brothers, at the same time, these sisters, when they go to your channel and they hear you going in and women and this and that, and these beads and holes and this and that, it takes them back to that same space when they were abused by other black men, which I know it has nothing to do with you and it shouldn't have nothing to do with you, but it's that same stigma that still haunts her and follows her. So the moment you're giving content, even though you're giving it to school and put the other brothers on what type of black women to avoid, if she's up here hearing you, it's not as what you say, but it's how you say it. When you going in bees, holes, this, that, and third, she's going to automatically take it personal, even though you ain't saying her name, even though she shouldn't be taking it personal. But this is what you're up against. It's a lot of angry women who have never had a voice. So now that they have one, they are going to make every brother pay for it because the ones who really did the damage, they probably don't have the advantage to make them pay. Okay, so basically, as I told y'all before, with the black women, black community, it's a lot of us that got displacement angers. We're angry about other things, and we're applying it. We're aiming it towards other people that really have nothing to do with it. But the moment a man does anything similar to a man that has abused us in the past or done something else in the past, we're going to go straight in some cases, like a man, a man, some men have had to go to prison, have had to go to jail for a woman lying on them, saying he abused her and beat on her when he didn't do that. But guess what? The judge didn't care. The judge still locked him up, made him do time. Now he's out of jail. And even though he's this free man, the moment he sees a black woman cry victim, he's going to automatically take offense because he's been in a situation where a black woman sat there and lied on him. And he was treated unfairly by the system. So the moment a black woman cries, in his mind, he's going to feel like she's crying wolf or she's using it to gain sympathy because a black woman did it to him. So with that being said, I really think that is part of the reason there's a high, substantial amount of issues going on between black men and black women in the YouTube sector. And that's why it's constantly getting out of hand. Black men going out, black women, they gunning for each other's channels, gunning for each other's reputation. But at the same time, the way you put your content out there is people out here who are hella sensitive. So the moment they feel like you going in too strong on something that hits close to them, they will be the main ones that's going to rally up with other sisters or other brothers who are in the same shoes, and they're going to all come together and rally up against you. That's usually how it happens, y'all. When you attack a group of people that share the same amount of pain, they all will come together and come after you. No different than the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King was tired of black men and black women not being treated fairly and not being able to have the same privileges that other races had. And guess what? He was not the only one who felt that way, even though he was the one who ended up, losing his life behind it. But it was millions of other people who felt the same way. He didn't march that walk. He didn't make that walk by himself. He didn't march by himself. He had blacks and whites, and it was even whites who did not like the segregation and racism. And the reason why all of them walked together and all of them fought for equality together was because they all felt the same way. They all did not like unfairness. Martin Luther King did not do it by himself. It took millions of other people, black, white, whoever, to walk with him to help him take a stand. So realize, ladies and gentlemen, that when you do your content and you are attacking people that all share the same amount of pain, even though in your mind, I'm just speaking truth, I'm just telling the truth, I'm just telling how it is. Well, truth and ridicule, everybody don't receive your truth the same way you think that they should be receiving it. And that goes both ways. Same thing with black women. Just because you perceive something as truth, well, I'm just telling how it is, I'm just telling how brothers out here is, that's your truth. You don't speak for all women. And I really think that is the problem with the black community. We getting truth and toxic mixed up. What y'all call as truth is nothing but toxic. It's toxic knowledge to enhance the hate and the disrespect we already have towards one another. But anyway, I'm not going to keep this content long. Just thought I would share this. I apologize for that little pause in between. I had a call. I really hate the fact that there's so much division among black men and black women. But until we can deal with our own pain individually, until we can heal from all the damage that was done to us personally, we are going to be spreading that toxic ass energy everywhere that we go. Anyway, y'all, I would like to get y'all opinion on this. With this gender war thing, do you think it's going to get better? Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think it's going to come a point where everybody's just going to knock everybody off? Because it seems like that's where it's going. Do y'all think this is like a personal thing? Or do you think only YouTubers are making themselves target because of the type of content they put out and the way they deliver that content? Do you really think it's truth, or do you think that some of these content creators take their truth too damn far to the point to where people don't look at it as truth, they look at it as toxic content? But anyway, I would like to get y'all opinion on this. Let me know what you think. This is your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to also pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Take care.